Welcome to Mindtrip FM, your nightly historical haven. If our stories help you relax, fall asleep, or simply soothe your curious mind, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment telling us what kind of stories you'd like to hear. Now, let go of the day, close your eyes, and join us as we journey into a forgotten world. You would never believe the terrifying ideas 19th-century doctors used to cure sleep paralysis using cages, electric eels, ice baths, and even prolonged isolation. Imagine yourself in 1895 Philadelphia, lying awake at midnight once again. Your heart pounds as invisible weight pins you to the bed. You cannot move a muscle. You cannot cry out. You feel a cold breath on your neck, though the room is silent and still. This is sleep paralysis, and it haunts you more nights than not. By dawn, you are shattered and desperate. You learn of a specialist, Dr. Henry Lafleur, who claims he can free you from this nightly terror. You enter his brownstone clinic, shutters drawn, gas lamps flickering. Other patients sit in stiff chairs, men and women with hollow eyes, clutching pillows as if for dear life. A nurse in a starched uniform guides you through a curtained partition into the treatment hall. The scent of ether and camphor hangs heavy. Along the walls stand odd contraptions, copper coils, wood and iron frames, and glass tanks. You swallow your dread as Dr. Lafleur emerges in a black, trimmed white coat. He smiles thinly. For centuries, people blamed demons or witchcraft for sleep paralysis. Today, we will use science and a measure of courage to reclaim your sleep. He directs you to lie on a padded table. You obey, your pulse racing. Your first ordeal is electrotherapy. 2 brass electrodes clamp to your temples. The doctor turns a wheel on a nearby induction coil. Sparks fly, Edison bulbs sizzle. You feel a jolt surge through your skull. Your muscles twitch uncontrollably, and you gasp. You cannot help but cry out, yet the current stuns your voice. The shock lasts but seconds. When it ends, you lie trembling, a sheen of sweat on your brow. Before you can recover, the next treatment begins. Hydrotherapy. You are seated beside 2 iron tubs. The first holds ice water, the second, boiling water. A nurse insists you plunge your hands and feet into the frigid basin. You grit your teeth through 30 excruciating seconds, limbs going numb. Shivering uncontrollably, you collapse onto a wool blanket. Once your teeth stop chattering, you are lifted into the scalding tub. Steam billows as hot water scalds your skin. You scream and try to withdraw, but gloved hands hold you under until every nerve feels seared. White hisses from your muffled cries erupt. Then, mercifully, you are lifted back onto the blankets, sobbing. Dr. Lafleur watches, spectacles gleaming in gaslight. Cold and heat shock the nervous system, he explains. They retrain your body's sleep circuits. You shiver, dripping water, unable to speak. Next comes the electric eel therapy. A large glass tank appears, filled with brackish water. Slender eels wiggle inside. The doctor declares, eel shocks are more natural and precise. You must lower your arms into the murky water. You obey, trembling. Minutes pass in darkness before a convulsive spasm seizes your limbs. You black out for a heartbeat, then come to, gasping, skin prickling. When you awaken on the table, you barely recognize yourself, yet the pain fades quickly into dull numbness. You are wheeled into a side room for recuperation. After an hour, your strength returns. Dr. Lafleur offers you a sip of brandy laced with strychnine, a stimulant to reinforce your will. You sip, feel a burning warmth flood your veins, and, for the first time in years, you feel alive. He then shows you one final therapy, the sensory deprivation cell. You are led into a small, windowless chamber padded with felt. A slit allows a nurse to slide in tea and brandy. The door closes with a heavy clang. Silence wraps you like a shroud. Moments stretch to minutes, minutes to hours. You sit in darkness, every echo swallowed by padding. Your heart pounds. The dread returns your mind, conjures the strangest visions, flickering lanterns, whispering shapes, the paralyzing nightmare of your first episode. You scream, and your voice is swallowed by felt. Finally, a small bell rings. You are released into the harsh light. You stagger back into the treatment hall. Dr. Lafleur inspects you. You have faced your darkest fear head-on, he says quietly. Now you know you can survive. That night, you lie in bed at home. The familiar weight descends, but this time, you are ready. You focus on moving a single finger. You visualize warmth flowing from head to toe. Your body stirs. You breathe freely. The paralysis dissolves like mist in sunlight. You cry out in relief and collapse into restful sleep. But treatments continue. In the following weeks, you endure more cycles of shocks, shivers, spinning chairs, and dark cells. Each ordeal pushes you further, trimming away the terror strand by strand. You learn breathing drills, affirmations, and self-hypnosis to steel your mind. By month's end, you walk into Dr. Lafleur's office without fear. You report your progress, nights without paralysis, mornings refreshed. He smiles, writing notes in his ledger. Patient exhibits restored neural control. Recommend maintenance regimen. You leave the clinic triumphant, your body no longer a prison. Yet, as you cross the threshold, you pause. You wonder at what cost this cure came. The scars on your skin, the tremor in your hands, the memory of fear so deep. You touch the silver amulet. He gave you a coil, engraved on its face, and feel the weight of your journey. That night, you test your resolve. The paralysis tries once more. You feel the familiar weight. You tense, then relax, breathing deeply. You flex a finger, then a hand, a foot. The darkness recedes. You lie back, victorious. Dawn finds you awake and fearless. You hurry back to the clinic, no longer a victim, but a herald of hope. Dr. Lafleur nods in greeting. You speak of dreams regained, of nights restored. He clasps your shoulder. You have mastered your mind and body. Now your story will guide others. Each morning you return to Dr. Lafleur's clinic with equal parts dread and determination. Today, he announces, you will try the rotational therapy, a treatment so unsettling that even hardened patients tremble at the sight of its apparatus. You are led into a circular room dominated by a massive wooden wheel set on a steel axle. Leather straps hang from its spokes. The doctor explains. Spinning disrupts the body's maladaptive sleep signals. You must embrace the disorientation to recondition your mind. You step into the wheel's center and secure leather straps about your torso and thighs. Two assistants push the wheel. At first, you spin slowly, just enough to unbalance your equilibrium. You grip the straps, heart pounding, face pale. Faster, the doctor commands. The wheel accelerates. Your vision blurs into rings of wood and torchlight. You feel your stomach lurch, bile rising. The world tilts and twists. Your innards churn like storm-tossed seas. You manage to gasp for air, the leather straps biting your skin. The wheel slows, but you reel, unsteady on your feet, trembling. Yet that very disorientation, the doctor insists, will help your brain distinguish sleep paralysis from waking reality. Next comes the iron cage protocol. You are taken to a steel chamber the size of a child's crib, walls spaced wide enough only to see through, not to escape. Dr. Lafleur warns, this simulates the helplessness of paralysis, but with the safety of your waking mind. You step inside, and the door locks behind you with a clang. The steel bars press your limbs into unnatural angles. You cannot move except to shift uneasily, recalling your nightmares. Gaslight flickers through the bars. Minutes stretch. Panic claws at you, but you force yourself to breathe slowly. A buzzer sounds, and the door swings open. Fresh air rushes in. You stumble out, breathing hard. Lafleur smiles. You faced your terror in the waking world. Now, when it comes in the night, it will hold no power. Soon you trial the electro-delirium chair. A dentist's chair, retrofitted with metal plates, awaits you. Wires connect to a power coil. We stimulate the entire nervous system, Lafleur says, to overload the pathways that cause paralysis. You sit, strapped, and once more feel electric jolts. Sparks dance, muscles contract violently. You are resigned to the shocka, brutal reminder of the price of control. After treatment, you are led to a small pool for the final ritual, the submersion baptism. You kneel at the edge, and Dr. Lafleur plunges your head into cold water. Disoriented, you fight for air. He holds you under until panic peaks, then releases you. You emerge, spluttering, eyes wide. Baptized in water, he intones, you are freed from nightmares. You stagger from the clinic, body racked with tremors, but mind alert. Your nights improve marginally. Each treatment chips away at the paralysis. One afternoon, Lafleur invites you to observe a group session. 5 patients confined in a rectangular steel frame, each strapped inside. They undergo alternate ice baths and electric shocks, rotating through stations. You watch their faces twist in agony, yet they persevere, binding their fear into resolve. You realize that fear, when confronted, is merely a tool, like ice or current. By facing it, you reclaim your nights. Upon leaving the clinic that day, you clasp your silver coil amulet, heart heavy yet hopeful. You walk home in the twilight, pondering both the cruelty and the brilliance of these cures. That night, paralysis visits you, but you are no longer afraid. You use host of techniques in concert. Long exhale, muscle flexing, candlelight focus, a whispered mantra. The weight lifts. You sit up, heart racing but unbroken. Morning dawns on your greatest triumph. The night has passed without struggle. You hurry back to Dr. Lafleur's office to share the good news. He nods, eyes bright. You are ready for the maintenance phase, he declares. 3 sessions monthly, and you will keep dread at bay. You leave, resolved at last. You will never again be helpless in the dark. Months pass, and the clinic evolves. Dr. Lafleur installs new technology, a pneumatically powered, reawakening chair, and refined induction coils. Word spreads through medical journals. Sleep paralysis is no longer mystical, but a treatable neural glitch. You arrive one afternoon to find the waiting room transformed. Gentle classical music plays from a phonograph. A portrait of Dr. Lafleur and you hangs on the wall under the headline, Pioneers of Nocturnal Neurosis. Young doctors study your case notes as they sip chamomile tea. Today you oversee the clinic's group therapy session. 6 patients recline on adjustable beds, each fitted with mild electrostimulus bands and pneumatic cuffs that gently tap limbs in rhythmic patterns. A nurse speaks soothingly. Focus on the tapping, breathe with the rhythm. Your body can relearn its own movements. You circulate with a clipboard, noting heart rates and muscle responses. One woman, Miss Thompson, trembles violently at the first pulse. You kneel beside her, placing a calming hand on her arm. Remember your mantra, you whisper. She closes her eyes and repeats, I am awake, I am safe. Her tremors slow. You smile, science and will working in concert. Next comes the cold vapor tent, a new refinement of hydrotherapy. A wooden frame stands over a marble platform. Dry ice hisses in a basin beneath, sending a veil of cool mist around your shoulders. You step inside with 2 others. The nurse instructs, breathe deeply through your mouth. Let the chill wash away fear. You inhale the minty vapor and feel a tingling calm spread through your chest. Later, you observe the cognitive reorientation protocol. Patients sit before a mechanical metronome and mirror. They are coached to perform small, intentional movements, flexing fingers, tapping feet while watching their reflections. The idea is to reconnect mind and body before sleep. You guide Miss Thompson's hand to a gentle tap, and she laughs quietly as the phantom weight lifts. As dusk falls, Dr. Lafleur holds an informal lecture in the clinic's parlor. Candlelight flickers across his face as he addresses a small audience of physicians and patients. He speaks passionately. Our work demonstrates that sleep paralysis is not fate, but a pattern to disrupt. Through therapy, electrical, thermal, psychological, we grant our patients sovereignty over their nights. You feel pride hearing your name mentioned for your volunteer efforts. After the lecture, you mingle, talking to patients who once cowered in terror but now share their progress. A young man thanks you, saying, without your guidance, I would still be trapped in that nightmare. Finally, you return home under gaslit streets. You greet your wife at the door, her hair pinned with a jasmine sprig. You share a quiet supper of roast chicken and potatoes, describing the day's successes. She listens, relief and admiration in her eyes. That night, back in your bed, you prepare for sleep as a routine. You place your coil amulet on the dresser, pour a glass of water, and recite your affirmations. As you drift off, your last conscious thought is gratitude for science, for compassion, and for the will that conquered fear. Morning finds you refreshed. You dress in a crisp suit and return once more to the clinic, ready to champion the next breakthrough in curing sleep paralysis. Weeks turn into months, and your work at the clinic becomes as familiar as breathing. Each morning, you walk the gaslit streets to that brownstone, now even more bustling with patients from across the country. You no longer quake with terror upon entering. Instead, you greet the staff and newcomers with a confident smile. Today, you assist with a new treatment, the vibrational resonance table. You and 4 other volunteers lie face down on a long hardwood table. Beneath pneumatic pistons gently oscillate the surface up and down at varying frequencies. Dr. Lafleur explains. This vibration stimulates the proprioceptive system, the body's sense of position, helping patients differentiate between dreaming paralysis and waking movement. You feel the table pulse beneath your chest, a low rhythmic hum. At first, The sensation is odd. Bones feel buoyant, your muscles mellow. You close your eyes and focus on steady breathing. After 10 minutes, you rise from the table, feeling oddly grounded, as if your sense of self has been recalibrated. Next on the schedule is the sound cocoon. You enter a padded chamber fitted with speakers at every angle. A nurse places noise-canceling earmuffs on you and then plays a series of low-frequency tones, throbbing pulses like a distant drum. The sound waves ripple through the walls and your body. You lie still as the vibrations wash away mental static, leaving your mind unexpectedly clear. By midday, you are scheduled to mentor newer patients in the mirrored affirmation exercise. You sit in a chair, facing a full-length mirror, reciting affirmations while watching your reflection move. I move, I live, I breathe. You guide a young woman whose face once froze in fear. Now her lips curve in steady determination. That afternoon, a crisis occurs. A patient, Mr. Caldwell, arrives in full paralysis, pinned flat in his chair, eyes wild. He has tried home remedies all night with no relief. You summon Dr. Lafleur and the team. They usher Caldwell into the hydroshock bay, combining rapid, warm, and cold showers with gentle massage. You stand by, monitoring Caldwell's breathing and speaking calm words. You are safe. You can move. After 15 agonizing minutes, Caldwell flexes a finger. Relief floods his face. You squeeze his hand. You are free. You say, Dr. Lafleur nods, proud. Remember this feeling. Your mind can master your body. As evening falls, you help close the clinic. You lock the sturdy oak doors and extinguish the gas lamps. On your walk home, you think of Caldwell's terrified eyes, now shining with hope, of each method refined and proven. You realize that the human spirit, once armed with science and compassion, can overcome the darkest dream. That night, you wonder if true cure means never dreaming again, or simply dreaming without fear. You slip into bed, confident but curious. You place your hand on the coil amulet and whisper, "Carry on, my courage." You close your eyes, ready to face whatever slumbers may come. Months have passed since you first walked through Dr. Lafleur's door, and your nightly torment has become a distant memory. Tonight, you do not hesitate as you prepare for bed. You place your coil-etched silver amulet on the dresser and extinguish the lamp, confident in your ability to sleep without fear. Yet, as midnight strikes, a faint weight creeps across your chest. You breathe deeply and steady your mind, focusing on the gentle tapping you learned at the resonance table. The paralysis threatens, but you inhale the cool night air, whispering your mantra, "I am awake, I am in control." A finger twitches, you flex your toes, the pressure subsides, and you sink into a calm, dreamless slumber. The next morning, you walk the clinic halls as a peer rather than a patient. You meet a young doctor loading a cart of new equipment, ultrasound resonance panels, and temperature-regulated boots for sensory retraining. You nod in approval. Medicine marches on, but the foundation laid with shocks, baths, and courage remains. That afternoon, Dr. Lafleur asks you to join him in the private consultation room. A letter from the American Medical Association lies on his desk. They intend to launch a national study on sleep paralysis syndrome, citing your published article and the clinic's success rate. You feel a surge of pride and responsibility. He hands you a pen. "We must sign our consent to share patient data, refine treatments, and set ethical standards. Are you with me?" You sign without hesitation. Together, you will shape the future of sleep medicine. Over the following months, you travel with Dr. Lafleur to conferences in New York, Boston, and Chicago. You recount your journey from terror to triumph, two packed auditoriums. You watch scientists and physicians nod thoughtfully as you describe the combination of physiological shock and psychological resilience needed to conquer paralysis. In Philadelphia, the clinic hosts an open house night. Former patients wander the halls, sharing stories. One woman shows you her knitted blanket, each stitch a symbol of a night survived. A man hugs you, tears in his eyes, grateful for the night of peace after years of horror. On your final day at the clinic, before beginning your own private practice, you pack your trained journals and equipment, breathing guides, handheld tapping devices, portable induction units. Dr. Lafleur and the staff line the hallway. He clasps your hand and says, "Your work will carry on here, and your practice will set new standards." You bow and express your gratitude. You move into a modest office on Broad Street. Above the door you affix a brass plaque, "Summers, Sleep and Wellness." Patients begin to arrive, teachers, factory workers, homemakers, seeking relief from the night's phantom chains. You greet them with compassion and expertise, guiding them through tailored versions of the protocols you mastered. In the years that follow, you refine the treatments, gentle vibration mats for home use, guided auditory tapes, handheld cold-warm packs, and online support groups. Sleep paralysis retreats further into the margins of patient histories. One evening, as you lock up your office, a patient catches your arm. She thanks you for giving her children a mother who no longer wakes screaming. Your heart warms. You realize that every shock, every chill, every minute in the dark chamber led you here to healing others. That night, you lie in your own bed, not just unafraid, but at peace. You turn over, smiling, and drift into deep, untroubled sleep, knowing the past storms have forged a safer path for all who follow. In the decades after Dr. Lafleur's death, sleep medicine grows into a respected specialty. Your clinic publishes manuals, trains generations of therapists, and offers humane, evidence-based care. Sleep paralysis is understood, destigmatized, and treated with compassion rather than cages. And each night, countless souls, once tormented by silent demons, find solace in the methods you helped pioneer. You long ago gave up the coil amulet, but you still own it, keeping it tucked in a drawer, reminder that courage can light the darkest night.